right, let's get to our standard review of the week. This week, we went and saw...
Ghostbusters. No, it's I'm not afraid, not afraid.
Yeah, they got the Fall Out Boy thing.
And Missy Elliott.
Let's just get some background out of the way. This movie obviously had it has a lot of baggage with it because of the negative. I think it was the most thumbed down trailer in YouTube history.
Well, the biggest thing was like, here's Ghostbusters. This is a movie that we're going to reboot with an all-female cast.
Right.
It was all males in the originals, obviously.
Because it was the 80s, everybody, by the way. I'm going to get to that. But it was the 80s, by the way. Go ahead.
But a lot of people poo-pooed that because it's like, feminism's big now, so that's why. And it doesn't really need a reboot. It's great. And so a lot of people crapped on the trailer and the YouTube likes because of that. I saw the trailer. I thought it was fine. It looked okay. I didn't think it looked great.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of movies that have great trailers that are terrible movies, and there's a lot of movies that have bad trailers that turn out to be great.
Of course.
I think of
But people were rating the movie before seeing the movie, which is unfortunate.
Right. And
so people who downvoted it because it's all girls, you guys are jerks. Like,
it's stupid.
Who cares?
It's stupid. The movie is directed by Paul Feig. Is that his name?
Feig, yeah.
He did Bridesmaids,
excellent.
Spy.
All right.
The Heat, I think, is the other one that he did with Melissa McCarthy.
I did not see that.
That's the one with Sandra Bullock. Oh my God, it's great. You need to go watch that.
Better than Bridesmaids?
No, Bridesmaids
is so good.
Well, Bridesmaids, it's filling a different void. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that those type of the Heat and Spy are different genres. A spy movie, a comedy spy movie, and then like a comedy cop movie. Where Bridesmaid is just a comedy, like about being a bridesmaid. It is so great. Okay, so you have Melissa McCarthy, you have Kristen Wiig, you have Leslie Jones, and then you also have Kate McKinnon.
Yes.
Who are playing the 4 Ghostbusters in this. You have Chris Hemsworth in it, who plays the assistant, the secretary, I guess, of the Ghostbusters in this.
Nice little spin
and
on it.
They're getting rid of Ghost. I mean, it's like I'm not trying to spoil anything because we'll do a review and then we'll get into some spoiler territory. But before we talk about what we thought about it non-spoiler, let's give our standard review. Okay, thumbs up.
This is a tough one, David.
Okay, thumbs up, great movie. Thumbs aside, good movie. Thumbs down is a bad movie. 1, 2, 3. I cannot believe you gave this a thumbs down. That's crazy. Okay. This movie for me is a good movie. I think it's almost a great movie. Honestly, I really liked this movie. I was smiling the entire time. There is a couple times it turned into a slight cringe because there's definitely some cringe-worthy moments in this movie. I will say, this movie pays homage to the original, but almost does it too much. Like,
oh yeah,
oh my God!
You're almost like waiting, like, okay, who's the next guy?
They said it. They did that thing.
I thought it wasn't too bad.
No, but they do too much. They do too much. And here's the problem: it's serving too many masters. Whenever you make a reboot, this has always got to be a problem, right? You can't change anything, but you got to change everything, right? You can't do the same thing, but you can't change anything. I think the characters in this do just as good a job as Dan Aykroyd and the whole cast over there. I'm not going to name all of them. I have them all written down because we're going to talk about the old movie in a second. And it's going to be hard not to compare this to the original because, again, it's a reboot.
And they have so the biggest thing with the whole reboot kind of thing is the trailer sold us on the fact like 30 years ago.
Right, and it's not set in the same universe.
And it's not. But they have these callbacks which are fine. They're but you said they're a little too much. But yeah, it's kind of annoying the fact that it wants to set itself apart from that, do its own thing, but it relies too much on the callbacks and stuff. And you're like, you guys got to pick one. You got to make it its own thing or make it a in the same universe thing.
For me,
pick one.
Kate McKinnon. She plays. Her name is Jillian Holtzman. She's kind of like she's the engineer. So she's like the goofy.
Is this her first movie, by the way?
No, well, she's on SNL.
Yeah.
So, but I think she's had other. This is probably her biggest role in a movie. It's fantastic. I love every scene with her in it because she's a goofy character. She's the engineer that loves being an engineer. Like it's so much.
I left comments like I almost out of it. I'm like, she was just so weird. I'm like, that's the character.
Right. And she's
inappropriate at most moments. You know, where everyone's like, oh man, she's just like giggling and stuff. And
right. Exactly.
Doesn't take anything seriously.
Right.
I almost wish there was more of her though.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, you have Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig who are going to be the top billing.
And you can't overstage them.
And this is the thing: is like Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson. All of those guys have great chemistry in those movies. Like you can tell. Now, clearly, Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd work together. SNL and stuff like that. And you do see like Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy have some really awesome moments. This movie as much as people hated the trailer kind of ruined some of the best, funniest jokes in
Oh
the
yeah,
movie.
definitely. That's one of the things I mentioned.
One of
the
the best
trailer
scenes-
has all the good scenes in it.
I don't think it does. There was actually, what's interesting is this, and I'm seeing this more, the trailer has a lot of scenes that aren't in the movie or are at like the end,
Like almost extended.
the end credit scenes. Like some of those trailer scenes are in the end credits, which I'm like, bravo. Like you're like, that's smart. Don't
Yeah,
show
the trailer
us.
did give us after seeing the movie. The trailer did give away a majority of the funny stuff.
Of course.
But you were talking about the chemistry. The chemistry between these 4 girls, or 4 women, I should say, whatever,
it's fine.
is not nearly as good. Like, not nearly. Like, the chemistry definitely missing. Kristen Wiig and McCarthy had a good chemistry together, but the other two, I can't stand Leslie Jones.
I loved her. I thought she was.
Every line is in all caps on her script. It must be, because she's screaming every line in this movie, and it's annoying.
I thought there's a couple, whenever I'm watching these movies, I'm like, why was that in there? Why, just cut that out. Like, it's not funny. Like, and that's the thing, is like, there's some jokes that are like, there's a couple parts in the movie that like, they do a huge thing to pay off for like a joke. And sometimes the joke hits really well, I think. And then sometimes I'm like, wow, like what a
You gotta
waste.
be more specific on that.
We'll get to with the spoiler stuff,
but Chris Hemsworth steals the movie.
See, I
the
found
funniest stuff was his scenes.
I think some of his stuff is funny, and then I think some of it is like cringeworthy.
Some of it's cringe, but the funniest jokes.
I don't think so. I think the funniest jokes come from the girls, from specifically Kate McKinnon. I think her, and now there's obviously action sequences in this movie. Right. Now a lot of people are going to be like, because it's a little kind of over the top for Ghostbusters, but you have to remember Ghostbusters was in 1984. Yep. Now the special effects, we'll get into that. We're going to talk about the old movie a little bit later. Special effects do hold up, some of them, but it was the 80s. It's 2016. Like, you have to do an action movie. Like, you have to do, and I thought the action sequences were great. I loved them.
I think they looked great.
I think they were fun. I was like, yeah, like, cause every kid, I had the proton pack, right? I had the uniform. I went out on a Halloween and dressed up, and I pointed, yeah, every kid wants to take a proton pack and point it at somebody. But you get to see it in 2016, and it looks amazing. It looks
great, yeah.
The CGI in this is great. The ghost looks great. There's just some weird things about this movie that feel like it wasn't edited enough. Like, there's certain cameos in this movie that are just out of place and not necessary. I'll mention just one, and this really isn't a spoiler because they've shown the scene when they're at a rock concert. Mm-hmm. Like, there's 2 seconds of Ozzy Osbourne in it that do not need to be in this movie. Do you know what I mean?
Wasn't that a callback to the original?
No. Well, it's Ozzy. Like, it's just, why? Why is he, like, and there's the other thing I wrote in this is, like, there is a bunch of big name actors that have extremely small roles in this movie. Like, Andy Garcia's in this movie, Charles Dance is in this movie, and they're in it for like 2 seconds.
Yep. That's the name.
And it felt like Star Wars. Like Star Wars now, there's like, oh, Tom Cruise was in a Stormtrooper. Daniel Craig was one of the Stormtroopers. I think it's probably people.
That's more of a joke thing. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Give me that armor, please.
And that's the thing with it was always going to be a problem with Ghostbusters because people have such love for this IP. And I love it. I played all the games. I watched the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. We'll get to that. I played all the games. I dressed up as a kid.
Wow.
But the story is good in this. I like their backstory. I like the characters. I enjoy that they all have kind of a similar, a motif of each character. You're this character. You're the nerdy scientist character.
Yeah,
who loves technology, and you're the scientist who's but there is a ton of meta in this movie. Like, they make fun of all of the stuff that went on with the trailer and the backlash with it being all women. And we'll get to that when we get to the spoiler stuff. And there's even, I thought about today, I was like, if they thought of this, and we'll talk about it on spoilers, I was like, bravo, because like that's pretty meta.
Let's just get in spoilers.
Okay, so
because you're mentioning a lot. Just wait.
Okay, so all right. So if you did not see that, well, go ahead. What do you want to say?
They are trailing, or they probably not going to get #1 spot this week, but they did hit Friday, looking at probably a $46 million opening.
They think if it needs to get over 50 because of the budget. The budget was pretty high in it.
Yeah, but 73% Rotten Tomatoes, certified fresh.
So yeah, it's a good movie. Like it's I think it's a great Ghostbusters movie. Like, it's a good movie, quote unquote, right? It's a great Ghostbusters movie. And we'll get to my opinions on the original Ghostbusters.
I think my biggest thing with this, David, I'm not a big Ghostbusters fan. Am
I
the one person?
No. It's just, I mean, it's, I don't know, I just think it's cool. Like, you're fighting ghosts. Like, that's cool. Like, it's just, just that idea is cool.
All right, spoiler bits, David.
Okay, let's get into spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, skip ahead. Maybe I think we'll probably talk for about 10 minutes or so.
Probably not more.
And yeah, probably.
Polarizing opinions here.
But yeah, and again, I think you should go see the movie. Don't get spoiled from this, and then just come back and listen to it. Okay.